Good afternoon, Manila. Thank you for joining us this afternoon in our energy webinar of the EU-Philippines Business Network. As some of you may not be fully aware yet, EPBN is a business outreach and support program co-founded by the EU in partnership with the European Chamber of Commerce and 7 other major EU business chambers in the country. The renewable energy sector in the Philippines is targeted to increase its capacities up to 15,200 megawatts by 2030 from its current levels of about 6,300 megawatts. Solar, biomass, and wind are expected to more than double from their present capacities. Renewable energy and energy efficiency projects and technologies are also provided incentives by the government. This afternoon, we have invited speakers from 3 EU companies that have been successfully operating in the Philippines in their areas of energy efficiency, biomass, and solar. We have also initiated some activities to further take advantage of the renewable energy sector in the Philippines, including a business mission for Energy Smart Philippines on August 31st to September 2nd. In this conference and exhibition, EPBN will be having a European pavilion to showcase technologies and services from at least 10 EU companies. Another mission that we have organized will be around the EU-Philippines Business Summit on October. In both missions, B2B meetings will be organized for the delegates and companies to take advantage of the opportunity to meet potential clients and partners. As participation to these missions will be partially subsidized by EPBN, we encourage companies and delegates to register in early, since this will be on a first-come, first-served basis. Before we start our webinar this afternoon, I'd like to remind everyone that please type in your questions so that our speakers will be able to address these clarifications that you might have. So to start our webinar, he is the Managing Director of Guardian Energy Philippines. Guardian has been one of the longest operating and engineering companies in the Philippines. He is also our President of the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. Can I introduce you now to Mr. Guenter?
Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you very much, and good morning and good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again. I have to get educated first on the press. Okay, can you remove the other thing as well here? I've lived, just a very quick background, I've lived here for 30 years, so I do believe it's a fair statement to say I do understand the Philippines fairly well and the industry, and we have been advocating for energy efficiency for the longest time. Because we've been interacting on the ECCP level with government for the longest time and advocating that every kilowatt hour we can save is a kilowatt hour we don't have to produce. So in that respect, I think it was for us as a engineering company a logical step to get into energy efficiency, because that's the business that basically we can help shape, and we've also been instrumental with working with the European Chamber and with PESA to implement a number of programs, one of them being Energy Smart, wherein we basically address the issues on inefficiencies in the respective factories. Can we so at least I see my presentation. I'll move it a little bit. Okay, give me a minute, sorry. So at least I see. It wouldn't. Okay. In this respect, that Okay, let's talk about energy efficiency in the Philippines. We basically approach customers, usually industrial customers, but it's not limited to industrial customers. It's also we approach big buildings, other installations, may it be factories, may it be anything else. And we normally start, you see on the screen now, you see a pretty quick rundown on what energy efficiency is and how we go about an energy audit. We basically do a basic assessment, technically financial viability, looking at what is installed. That's okay, it's fine. We look at what is installed in the premises that we look at. Then we do evaluate what is the highest energy consumer in that setup. Once we have done that, we look at it and say, fine, what can we change in order to bring down the energy consumption by 10, 15, 20, 25%, and living in a developing country, partly we have encountered installations where we can go as high as 30% energy savings. Once that is done and we evaluate and we give the customer our proposals on what we can do, then we start the installation, we supply, install and maintain the equipment afterwards, and naturally also monitor the subsequent savings that we have achieved in what we're doing. We do this mainly with air conditioning, since we are by heart an air conditioning company, but we also address the aspects of lighting and anything else that is in the building. However, in a tropical country like the Philippines, 60% of the energy used in a building or in a factory is really air conditioning. About 20-25% is lighting, and the rest is usually operating equipment. So there's a lot of savings to be achieved in the air conditioning part. Let's go to the next slide, if you can.
So the next slide, you see the Philippines has long been
the next slide, you see the Philippines has long been a defender of energy efficiency and energy conservation. We've had a number of, if you operate in this territory, our energy is one of the highest, if not the highest in Asia outside of Japan. So naturally it will come to a point where people do realize that saving is a must, because it's a substantial part of their expenses. So our energy cost is around about 25 US cents per kilowatt hour, which is considerably higher than most of the European countries or even the United States. The reason why our power rates are very high is the Philippine government does not subsidize any energy. They do not subsidize fuel costs, so naturally the price dictates itself. You can look through these sources. We have always on our slides, we have mentioned this source of where we have gotten the data from that we are showing.
Energy efficiency
It's again how it works. Energy efficiency investments are typically 1/3 of the decentralized generating costs and represents virtually permanent savings at the end. A variety of technologies are available here. I'm sure you're fully aware of it. So on the HVAC side, it depends on what your installation is, how you can achieve that. Various different technologies available. We do that on a residential, commercial, as well as municipal water. We also work with high efficiency motors. So there are a number of things that we do, and there are a number of projects and a number of fundings available even from the EU that we look into in order to support all of those projects. If it's financing, there's a number of financing schemes available, may it be through the IMF, through private banking here, through governments like EU supports the HEMS, the high efficiency motor projects. So there's a number of ways on how this can be structured. There's a number of governments also within the organization that support and finance or provide finance for energy efficiency solutions. Now, looking at the opportunity in the Philippines energy sector, you have a slide here wherein you probably go through this later. I don't have to explain it a slide by heart, piece by piece. We have the transport industry, residential building, commercial building, and the rest of the sector. So you find a fairly good cross-section on short-term, long-term, and medium-term solutions and standards. And on the side, you see the total kilowatt-hour really savings that we have to achieve, what are we trying to achieve. Let's move on to the doing business in the Philippines. Doing business in a developing country can be rather challenging, to say the least. We do have certain processes here, and we do help people through the European Chamber. We do help them set up their businesses and make registration a lot easier. You normally would come here, we guide you through, see what are the business legal requirements, how do you go about setting up a company. We walk you through our energy programs and how to work with the different government agencies involved. And we can support you with technical expertise and local support, which for me as heading JEC, or Chartered Engineering Corporation, we are always here to help in the technical solutions and the local expertise. With people, we employ about 800 people, so we are usually able to help out in a number of aspects. How is it to develop projects? Again, you need to have the market exposure, annual energy efficiency activities of different organizations, which are data that is readily available. We have a number of ESCOs, and the ESCO business is rising. We get more and more of those because it's very, very lucrative business to get into and help people save money and get your profits or get your share out of it from the savings that you do. We have a number of alliances, non-profit organizations, and private sector. They're all listed there. We are part of this as the European Chamber, and we make sure that we bridge the gap between private industry and government. Then you have, of course, government programs, financial grants by local, international agencies, and what have you. So there are also funds and knowledge to be tapped from that sector. Let me quickly run you through what we do as JEC, where we can come in, where we can help. We are a fully owned subsidiary of Chartered Engineering in Hong Kong. Our mother company is Chartered Matheson, one of the oldest conglomerates in Asia. We as JEC, we have been in Hong Kong. We actually started in Shanghai, and we are almost 90 years old as a company. In the Philippines, we incorporated in 1998. We currently, the number you see there is not correct. We grow on a daily basis. We have about 800 people now. Our head office is in Makati. We do provide energy services and operation maintenance, building system, electrical, mechanical contracting. We also do build big wastewater treatment plants. We build freshwater plants. So we're basically an engineering company in the traditional sense. However, the core business we have is we specialize in the HVAC, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and energy efficiency solutions. If you look at our roster of clients, we pretty much service all the major or top 500 corporations in the Philippines one way or the other. Off the top of my head, I think we have about 120 different customers at this point in time. And you see from Shell to JP Morgan to Dairy Farm to Coca-Cola, Nestle, they're all our customers. So I think we have established a fairly good track record. And if you need any help to set up a business in the Philippines in that sector, I think you should look at us as a viable partner. I think that is it for me. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly or contact me through the European Chamber. And I hand this back to you. I think you introduced the next speaker. Thank you very much. Have a nice morning and a nice afternoon.
Thank you, Guenter. Our next speaker is from EnTech Philippines, Mr. Ditmar Gorges. He established EnTech in the Philippines to cover the biomass and biogas sector. The company is involved in EPC and project development of biogas power plants. Without much ado, this is Ditmar.
Good morning. I would like to talk today about the opportunities which we see in the Philippines here on the biogas. What's the next slide? No, it's different. Yes, okay. I think the presentation is, well, it was set from the back. Anyways, it's in a different sequence. So let's talk about the potential first. What we have here on the slide is a study which was done by USAID on behalf of the Philippine Department of Energy, the DOE, and it basically shows us the potential of using organic waste from the agricultural sector and converting it into energy. This is an in-depth study, and it goes by the various, what we see on the left are provinces, major provinces here in the Philippines. And when we look at the total potential, so something like 4,600 megawatts, which we basically have on organic waste generated in the agricultural sector, and which is currently burned on the fields or it's being released into rivers and so forth, and it is not used to be converted into energy, like we're doing it in most part of Europe. So that's basically the potential. On top of this, we have the organic waste from the municipalities, such as septic sludge, organic household waste, oil and grease from food processing companies and so forth. All of them will have to be added, estimating the total volume somewhere around 6,000 megawatt capacity, which can be basically converted into energy. So when we're looking at the various potential feedstock for an energy plant, for biogas plants, so on the right we have septic sludge. Again, that's your sludge which we generating in our sewage treatment plants and municipalities, which again widely to my knowledge in Germany, Holland, Denmark, all the way down to Italy. Almost all municipalities have a biogas plant which is converting the septic sludge into waste, into energy. Then we have food processing waste from dairy factories, meat processing plants. We have again municipal organic waste, again this is our household waste and the food waste which restaurants and hotels producing, and then also the animal waste, pig manure, chicken manure, all the way to NAS. NAS is the waste from an ethanol or alcohol production plant. So all this waste, what you see here, is going untreated into the environment in the Philippines. So liquid part, the liquid manure is going into rivers, ultimately into the ocean. Likewise, the septic sludge. Only here in Manila we have about, I think, 3 or 4 septic treatment plants. The rest of the country, they don't exist. Meaning to say all this waste is going 60. So all this waste is going into the environment. What we're seeing is now the awareness on the public side, also on the government side, to do something about it. So we have those beaches, which some of you probably heard about, and more we see in our famous beach of Boracay, algae spinning up. The reason why is because all that waste is going untreated into the ocean. And we see now this increased pressure on government officials, NGO officials, stakeholders to do something about it. And so that's basically, when it comes to biogas, people come approaching us and saying, we have an island here, we have results. What are we supposed to do with our waste? So that's basically the potential what we're seeing in the Philippines. So all in all, it's we believe quite substantial, and it's an opportunity to really start this type of business again, which is converting organic waste into energy. Let's see, we have a few more. This is a slide about tips of doing business in the Philippines. Again, our recommendation is to find a trustworthy local partner. We are a SME, so smaller company. So it is important that you have local partners in your company which having the connection and so forth and supporting you. We also believe that as a technology provider from Europe, you should provide all the financial and technical support for your partner in the Philippines. So that's very important, and that's also expected from a local distributor that the European principle is providing all these services. Again, contacts and networks with friends and colleagues is very, very important. You have to have a network which is, for one, puts you into the market, but also is protecting as we see later. Again, treat clients with respect. That's always been expected here in the Philippines. And in terms of the government agencies, we have to say that we get full support, so we have no issues on that side, because again, the government as well is realizing we have to address that issue of our waste. And so from that end, we for our part, we have full support where at least this is. Now, talking a little bit here about the other side of the business, I don't want to scare anybody, but I know here 13 years and I realized an increased trend of, how would I say, corruption in middle management in big companies. So we have to see that. So it's not like in Europe that if you come here to energy and you offer your product to one of the large global companies, that everything would go normal. That's not the case from our experience in the Philippines. You have to somehow address, how to say it, the demands of middle management, which wants to have some favors from traveling to a resort, all the way sometimes to monetary kickback, so to speak. So we're just experiencing that in the last 5 years. But we hope with the new government that may change. I mean, another typical thing for Asia is, of course, the collection, whether you're in the Philippines or in other countries, it will take time. Again, particularly the large companies, you have to expect longer payment collection periods. And of course, legal system is also very strong, so nobody wants to go. You don't want to even consider taking legal action with anybody. That's why you have to have, as earlier mentioned, your partner in the Philippines, your trustworthy partner who can take care of that. A few words about the company. So again, EnTech, we're an SME local company. We do EPC, we're building wastewater treatment plants, biomass, that's our core business now. Our principal in Germany is LIP, a company we started about 50 years ago. We built the first biogas plants in '74. The first car using LIP biogas was put out in the street in 1980. And we have now a total of 704 biogas plants built worldwide. A few examples, so here in the region, in Japan, in China, in the Philippines. So again, that's how they look like. And those samples here in Japan and in the Philippines are indeed the replacement of landfills. As I said earlier, we still have all the waste is not treated, so instead of a landfill, that's how a biogas plant would take all the waste, process it, converting it into energy. We heard earlier about the energy, high energy cost, so from that end, it will work quite well. So I think that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Ditmar. Our next speaker is Mr. Mike Consenheim. He's the President and CEO of SolarNRG Philippines. SolarNRG is a full-cycle developer of various solar systems here, and he will discuss to us their current experience.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning. I'm my Consenheim, as already presented by Mr. Fidel. I run SolarNRG in the Philippines. I just wanted to start initially by saying solar here in the Philippines is a relatively young market, hence they picked a relatively young speaker today. Just to give you a context on the solar industry in the Philippines, compared to, for example, what was presented earlier in comparison with energy efficiency. Energy efficiency focuses really on reducing the usage of energy, thereby relying less on the production of energy. Solar, in comparison to that, we focus on producing energy through renewables in order to reduce the usage, if that makes sense. So that's just to give you a context. Then I would like to start with a little history on solar energy market. So basically, just in general, as already presented also before, the energy market here in the Philippines is a very expensive market. The prices of electricity per kilowatt hour are very high, especially relatively to other countries here in Asia, and even compared to Europe and the US, it's much higher. I think relatively, if you can see the chart on the bottom, the Philippines on residential prices per kilowatt hours is more than double the US, and just below the Netherlands. So just to give you context on the pricing. The reason why we're showing always the cost of energy mix, which will be obvious to you, is whatever the cost of electricity is, solar produces, this saves. So it's basically what it's worth that solar energy is produced. Yeah, so the background is electricity prices have been steadily increasing in the Philippines, and they're projected to keep increasing in the coming years as well. You may or may not have heard about the looming power crisis last year. It did not happen as we expected it to happen. However, we still saw an increase in power slightly, and over the coming years, if there's no urgent or specific measures to increase the energy production, prices will still go up. In addition to that, like I said before, there's no subsidy yet on electricity prices here in the Philippines or production. However, a few years ago, 2008 actually, Republic Act 9513 focuses on renewable energy, and along with that Republic law, they actually came out with a so-called subsidy feed-in tariff that is currently used for utility-scale solar projects. I'll come back to this later, or maybe in the questions and answers. Just to start off the rest of the presentation, for solar here in the Philippines, we have three markets specifically to segregate these. We have residential, which is mostly one-phase systems. We have commercial market, which is more on three-phase, and this can go up from anywhere between, say, a really small one like 60 kilowatts up to a megawatt, for example. And then the third market is really utility scale market, which is focusing on feeding or selling the energy that's being produced back to the grid through this feed-in tariff incentive or directly to the EU. There's multiple options. Okay, just to give you an overview on the solar system itself, let's focus in this case on residential and commercial. We always present to clients or potential markets, you're looking with solar to reduce your electricity bill by about 30 to 50%. The reason why we choose this number is in order to maximize your investment in solar, you need to make sure that whatever you're producing, you're using it. So you minimize your exporting. So if your usage graph throughout the day is for this, you are looking to maximize your peak of your solar, touching that peak line of your consumption. In order for everything that's being produced to make sure it's being produced for you. So if ever you go above, so you're producing more at a certain moment, say between 11 and 1 p.m. during the day, you're producing more than you're consuming, you're actually going back to the grid. There is indeed a under Republic Act 9513 also called net metering, which mandates electricity providers to buy back the power from you, if there's excess. This will be measured with a meter. So that's on that side. Just in general, a solar system is an investment with an immediate tangible return. Meaning the moment you turn on the system, it's producing and it's saving you energy. There's no questions about that. The good thing about solar systems is they really last for a long time. Industry standards range between 5 and 10 years on production warranty and energy efficiency warranty, meaning the limited production warranty of the solar panels can go up to 25 years. This means that they are guaranteeing that at 25 years age of your solar panel, it's still producing at least 80% of efficiency when it was needed. Good thing is that studies have shown that solar panels actually last over 30 to even up to 40 years before efficiency really drops. Just on the environmental side, there's some general statements. Of course, the solar industry is excellent because it's lowering the nationwide carbon footprint. If every single household even has a small system that takes out 10 or 20% of their electricity during the day, this already makes a huge impact on the nationwide carbon footprint, especially if companies who have operations mostly from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., they can target a much bigger part of it, they'll say about 40 to 50%, in some cases even 70%. So this is a fantastic way of lowering the nationwide carbon footprint, and additionally even helping electricity providers to stabilize basically the going up graph during the day of using electricity, because the solar of course also goes up when people start working, so it lowers the jump basically during the day, which leads to also a reduction in the probability of brownouts. Okay. Very simple terms, how does a solar system work? You have solar panels on your roof. These are basically converting light back into electricity. It's not about heat. Heat is actually the worst thing for solar. It reduces efficiency. So we're not talking about heat, we're talking about light. On very sunny days, it's producing a lot. On rainy days or dark cloudy days, such as today, for example, here in Manila, it's still producing, but it's producing less. But they're still light. So it's producing maybe 30 to 40% of its max production, which is still very good. So the numbers we always give when we're talking about production on a monthly basis or yearly basis is an average. So it takes into account bad days, sunny days, summertime, rainy season, etc. So the solar panels convert light into electricity. It floats through DC cables into the inverter, the solar inverter, which are grid-tied inverters, so they're connected to the grid. They detect the AC, so if it's like 230 volts, or 240 volts, or 220 volts, it reads this AC frequency and voltage levels, and it keeps the voltage slightly above it. This allows the solar use to be used first before it sucks electricity from the utility provider. So that's the good thing about this, how the grid-tied inverters work. Solar panels on the roof, DC cables, inverters. Inverters, it becomes from DC AC, which means it's pretty grid-tied, and then supplies back into your grid. As mentioned before, number 5, net meter. This is the second meter that will be installed either next to the original meter, or the original meter will be replaced by a bilateral meter, or a meter that can turn both ways, and it will measure the production that's both consumed and exported back into the grid. Again, this is under Republic Act 1953. Just a sample application system that we actually did in Negros. This is a 91.8 kilowatt peak 360 panel solar system. As you can see, it's laid out very nicely and distributed over a entertainment center. It's a huge basketball court and stage, and for all kind of activities. And it's supplying the solar back through these inverters you can see on the right side, back to the grid of the building. The building that's next to it, which is all owned by the same client, it's a hospital clinic and a hotel resort Whitmore. So it's consuming enough electricity throughout the day to use this complete 91.8 peak, or it'll produce not that exact amount, but whatever is being produced is being used, consumed, so it's minimalizing export. Okay, just a little background on our company. SolarNRG, we're from the Netherlands. We started in 2003. We completed large-scale projects all over Europe and installed by now more than over 500,000 solar panels. As mentioned before, we focus on either small residential products up to commercial bigger ones, and we're also involved in utility scale, meaning megawatts ground mount, either in the Philippines, or also looking in Sri Lanka, South Africa, and still in Europe. You can see in the left bottom that's our head office together with the storage facilities, which is quite large. This is near Rotterdam, near the port, makes it easy for transportation of containers. And then on the right bottom side, you can see some of the storage facility. Again, left top bottom, this is our small system, 1 kilowatt peak for panels that's producing 1,000 watt peak, which maybe realistically peaks at around 800, maybe 850 watt peak at 12 noon on a sunny day. Bigger systems, 12 panels, which is 3 kilowatt peak. Commercial and mall, 2,700 panels, and a utility scale 1.4 kilowatt peak in Langendijk in the Netherlands. So, just as comparison, a 1 kilowatt peak system can supply power for about a 1 horsepower air conditioner. Okay. SolarNRG moved to the Philippines together with me. About 4 years ago, we found a local partner called Jader Development Corporation. This is a local development corporation. As mentioned by our previous speaker, it's for SMEs very important in order to get somewhere, to get things done, to understand the local process, procedure, etc. More, better, and faster. It's important to get a local partner. So we found this local partner. They are a developer of buildings, hotels for over 30 years already. It's a family corporation. So we partner with this family. Some of our product partners here in the Philippines are, for solar panels, the top part, REC, Canadian Solar, and Jinko. SolarNRG is authorized or certified by each one of these three. So we are an official recognized dealer and installer for these big manufacturing companies. These are all tier 1. For inverter, we are bringing in Grow, and as a make Grow is the tier 1 Chinese producer or manufacturer of inverters, and SMA is the most known one, the German one. All of our products come with the necessary international certifications. Okay, that's it. That's fast. Yep.
That's it. Thank you, Mike. Now we are open for questions and answers. Please type in just if you have any clarifications that you'd like to address to our speakers this afternoon or this morning. Anyway, just to remind you again, we will be organizing an Energy Smart mission to the Energy Smart Philippines come August 31st to September 2, and as well as another business mission to the EU-Philippines Business Summit in October. In both missions, we will be organizing B2B meetings for delegates and companies to take advantage again of the opportunities here in identifying clients and potential partners. Details of these two missions can be found in our website, and we'll be in touch with you just to remind you in case you might be interested to participate in any of these activities. So with that, I think we have no more questions for our speakers. Well, thank you again for joining us in this morning's and for this afternoon's activity for EPBN. Thank you again. We will inform you again of our next activity, which will be, well, just a reminder, join our activities August and in October for the EU Business Summit as well.